All right. Male, lived in the 1900s, American, and music.
I got a few. This is gonna be weird. I feel like I've got two and I can't.
Maybe they're together.
All right. So I got a couple things and they're firing from two spots. So I think it's two of them, but we'll see what I catch clearly. There's a cowboy hat. Um oh, there we go. Um Gary, do you remember the very cool vibe that Tom Petty had? Really
Yeah.
cool. This is similar. Okay, but that's everyone.
What?
We've got like a lot of drugs and alcohol. Like this is not helping me. Not in the music industry. Walk, walk, walk the line.
Is it Johnny Cash?
Walk the line. Yes. That's so crazy. Okay, I'm gonna go a little like weird fangirl here.
That-
So
That's who I had like 5 minutes ago.
really,
Yeah.
that's great. Something about the depression, like he must have grown up in that time. Like born in the early 30s. So
No.
he grew up, he's I don't know why he's making that point with me, but okay. He says it's gonna make sense about intention and purpose, but
Let's start off with his pre-birth intention.
all right. So let's see if I'm gonna lay this out right. Lots of pictures. To find a way to be authentic, I think is the word. Um, in a reality where you have no idea who you are.
Mm.
How do you be authentically you when you have no clue who you are? Um, that was the a part of the exploration, I think. There was it. Oh wow. Okay. um. Oh man. That made me cry a little bit. He's very emotional. There's a lot of emotion with him. The way that to 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 explore that and to connect really with it was like humanity, that human experience, right, to connect with other people. But his consciousness, his interest, one of his big interests, it isn't so much music. It's like telling a story. it's
Mm.
it's relaying, yeah, relaying experiences like verbally with emotion, and music was just a little bit of it was a way to do that, but it wasn't really music. It could have been anything.
So how does one discover who they truly are in this reality?
It's the first thing that comes is not the words, but it's like follow the breadcrumbs. um Follow the signs that you've you left for yourself.
Mm.
The the clearest, most obvious path is the one that makes you feel excited, the one that makes you feel interested. That's the setup. We're conditioned to to get what we want, we have to feel bad. We have to work hard, suffer, give up, sacrifice to ultimately get to that dream. And the only thing we want really is to know more of who we are. We do that by following the little signs that we left for ourselves, doing, saying, being, following those things that get us excited and expressing, wow, expressing ourselves in any way available and looking for the reflection back from people that we love. Wow. Okay. He's really emotional. I might not be able to keep from. Oh, gotta stop doing that. Please stop that. I can't talk.
What's he doing?
It's just the pictures, the images, and the sort of blocks of thought. There's not really any solid word for word for word. It's just it's an understanding and blocks of thought, but it comes with a lot of emotion.
How well did that intention go to discover his authentic self in a reality where you don't know yourself? And what would be an example of a sign?
Okay, the signs are everywhere. They're simple, like a a number that you see on a bill, on a right, a restaurant bill. And then you turn the corner and there's that number on the license plate of a car that you like. It's follow that. Notice that you're always being led. It doesn't mean steal the car, right? It just means just note, okay, I'm going the right way. Walk over there. Where is the car parked? What's it in front of? Notice all of these. You've left things everywhere. You've left them everywhere and you write them off like it's coincidence. You find a way to explain it. And lightning strike. These things that happen to all of you all the time and you discuss it and you still want to try to explain it away. But these are things that happen to all of you over and over and over again. And the odds of these things happening are like lightning striking in the same place 100 times.
Right.
It's not going to happen. It's not that. It's that you have intentionally left signs. And if you're following your inspiration, you will see them. And the more you follow it, the more you will see them. If you pay attention and you appreciate them and you take note and you start looking for what's behind them, more of them will show up.
This podcast is called An Unimaginable Life because we've had so many unimaginable experiences. And one of them that seems to fit right into this is when we were all in New York and we went to lunch together, and there was six of us, and we had lunch outside, and there was a bill, and then five of us had dinner that night in a restaurant inside during COVID, where the owner said, "You're the first people to ever eat inside of a restaurant," and it was raining, and everyone said, "You can't go out tonight because you'll have to sit outside in the rain." And we said, "We have inspiration," and we go in there, and then the bill was exactly the same as the bill from lunch to the penny. Um, but we we couldn't, we saw that it was obvious, it was unimaginable. There was no way to explain it. But was that a sign that by following that inspiration and going to the restaurant in the rain anyway, knowing that something would work out, that's the idea behind this?
One of them
Or is there
to
more?
to follow those things, but it's even it's even simpler, I think, is what he's trying to get at. It's even more simple that just to push through. Okay, I see what he's getting to push through that was is an example of pushing through a lot of fear, a lot of disagreement by other people, a lot of things that say you can't, you won't, you can't, you won't. And that's that's a great example. but he's what he's saying is that the simplicity of it is just look over here, right? Get up and walk over there. Driving, just you see something and it lights you up, it's interesting, just stop for a minute. The I can't, I'm going to be late, but whatever. It's just stop. It doesn't have to change your life or your world. Just stop. It's these little things, and then look for the signs. Look for the times that you talk to your friend about an old college friend, right? You talk to someone and you mention someone, and within 24 hours, they pop up on Facebook, and within a week, someone else is mentioning them. And before you know it, you're running into them in a restaurant in another city. This stuff is happening, and it's just pay attention. It means something. It always means something, maybe more than one thing.
For
Huh.
instance, the town he was born in. Do you know what that is?
Like Kings something, Kingsland, Kingstown, Kingsland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Kingsland. Was that a sign he set for himself?
Yeah, sure.
What did Johnny Cash, what did he discover about himself in his life that was true to who he truly is? What characteristics or aspects?
So who he truly is, who we all truly are, right? There's it's funny how this is coming. So um the the who he truly is this it's an authentic what's the word? Support seems to be the word, but we'll say desire too, for this recognition of oneness and equality. And he's saying in his life, his highly emotionally sensitive, like extraordinarily so. Um, and in that inability to see things as perfect, where someone is as perfect, that authenticity, that desire, support of the equality, the unity, the oneness, leaned him in the direction of this persona, in a way, I guess is the way he's putting it, identity that was all about um, a lack of privilege, all about the oppressed and those who didn't have the same opportunities. And it was all about that. It's like what the wearing black was about, was
Mm.
partly what that was about, was like this standing with those who are have no opportunity, are underprivileged, to symbolize that. That's what the black was about. Did you guys know that?
We didn't
I
know
didn't.
that, but I was going to ask about the, wearing
Yeah,
black all the time.
right. So to to answer that question, it's the unity and the oneness and this authenticity of that is who we all truly are.
Mm.
What you can see is in this 3D, and the way that when you forget and you don't understand your own power or someone else's power because you've forgotten, that you begin to see things as wrong and bad, and people as in a place that they should not be, that they don't deserve to be, and spend a great deal of time seeing that and almost promoting that lot in life, right? So he's, I think, trying to bring that around to show you, yes, very much to who he truly is. But you can see how that 3D filter can start to pile on, tilting it in the direction of something is wrong. right? Yeah.
Yeah, now that makes so much sense because I've always this whole journey of self-discovery, I'm always thinking is to discover who, like, my inner self truly is, who I truly am in the non-physical, those aspects of me. But it makes so much sense. It's just to discover oneness, unity, equality, you know.
Hmm. At least in his case. Yeah. But
Well,
that is a lot of it, right? Yeah. I
yeah,
think that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Um, okay. Huh.
So then coming from deep poverty as one who was, you know, thought of as lacking, and then to come through that, that gave him this the understanding that that lot in life can be overcome, but not through the charity or the help of others who see it as wrong or bad.
In his life, it was really a rebellion against, injustice or something. Um, even an outward wearing of wow, how he saw life, his own experience of life.
To discover
Mm,
himself in this life, to discover the authentic version of himself, did he choose to come in with high emotional sensitivity?
yes,
And how
clearly,
did
right.
that manifest for him?
Like he's saying, like many of you, it was overwhelming in the perception of what he believed other people were feeling.
Mm.
The like sadness of or pain of his parents or other people that he loved, and then neighbors and friends. It wasn't so much, um there was his own pain, but it was primarily derived by focusing on and perceiving that he could understand the pain of others. And there was nothing he could really do about it. And it was that's a downward spiral. And that became much, much, much too much.
And that's how the drinking and alcohol started.
Yeah, like with many, there wasn't much else to do either. Um right. And that was accepted. Um and it certainly helped to numb things for a bit. And sure. And then, okay, so he says that the more the more famous you get, right? The more attention that you get, the more pain, and the more is available to you, the more things you get, the more things you are gifted. People are bringing you, right? Alcohol, drugs, things, right? Um, Wanting to socialize, wanting to, and always being in that environment. And it just escalates, escalates, escalates. So, yeah.
Yeah, it must also have been a lot of people asking for help too.
Hmm. That was a roller coaster ride, too, to, to help early on when he had the means. But then to have an attachment to how that help was used or how it turned out, and then the resentment and the anger when you help again and you help again, and then comes to the feeling of being used,
Mm.
and not suddenly feeling like you don't know who who you can trust, right? You don't know why anyone is there. And so it spirals, it, well, booms, like a mushroom cloud, I think.
When we were beginning this journey a couple years ago, we were told that as we shift our perspective, we actually start to feel more alone. And that must have been what it was like too for him as he became more successful. It may have led to feeling more alone in certain situations,
He says, if I have this right, that fame is lonelier than prison.
which is what Prince's deep dive was into loneliness.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the greatest feeling you had in your life?
He says, getting out of prison. Was he in prison for a long time? So here, oh, okay. Ooh, I had a certain feeling when I was getting ready to bungee jump for the first time, and I was standing up there, and I just got that feeling again. So it was like this incredible fear, right? A lot of fear, but so much excitement that it's just this explosion. So that that's interesting. But that was a moment of great feeling. Anytime that you can come to an edge of extreme fear to, and then go ahead and do something that you truly want to do, right? It's like what he's saying, it's not something that you truly from your heart really want to do. That's, and then you do it even when there's no turnout yet. That's that feeling. Okay, interesting.
Great. From your perspective,
Okay, so he's mentioning
what's that?
he's mentioning, oh yeah, when the kids were born too. It's kind of how he's putting it, like, oh yeah, that. I think that was intentionally sarcastic.
From his perspective now, how would he advise those of us who are on a journey of unity, equality, and oneness? Something maybe we're not really aware of or not considering.
The very first thing, it's like it's turned to yourself. Um, but I think what he's saying is take one day and speak to yourself like you would royalty, someone that you love and admire and are almost not worthy of. Speak to yourself like that for one day.
Mm,
Okay.
that's good. That's a mic drop
Yeah,
moment.
that's good. Right. And then that's the next thing. The next day, pick someone else and do the same.
And soon enough,
The
you could
rest
do
you'll
that.
understand.
Do
Yeah,
that
the rest
today.
you'll understand.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. This is
I do too. Wow.
what was
Yes.
the what was your favorite song you recorded?
I can kind of hear it. Hold on, but I'm not getting words. I'm just getting pictures. So help me. So it's the word is like one, and then I think like piece, like a piece of a pie. Is it one piece of time? One piece of time. I can hear it because if we have it, I mean, is that a song? One piece of time.
One piece at a time. One piece at a time.
Yeah, I'm having to. The translation's interesting. It's all pictures for the most part and motion. So
Mm.
I got some music there, but I don't know the song.
What is with the outlaw identity? Is exactly what we are talking about before. Is like representative of those who are Left Behind.
It is, yeah. It's a, it was a, yeah, it was like a commentary too. It was like he said, like he's standing with those who are, um, downtrodden, right? You know, marginalized society, right? He's standing with them. That was part of it. Was an outward representation of how he saw life in general, very dark, very black. And like it's sort of this like a philosophy of it had to drown. It had to do with like being real, right? Without not putting a bunch of stuff, right? Stuff on. It was it was just clothing. So the outlaw thing, there is this rebellion, but it's more about injustice than right than it is about being an outlaw. So okay,
Well, especially if you would compare him
go
to
ahead.
Elvis Presley at the time and what Elvis was wearing, right? Inauthentic,
Showy, right?
showy.
Flashy
Yeah,
and yeah, more
yeah,
you know, bedazzled and yeah, and that was
a performance.
it right. This was about just telling a story and not about him, not about Johnny Cash, but about the story that he was trying to tell.
But it certainly became about him.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
that would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't really
Especially in those times. It's sort of like
yeah.
Sia wearing the wig. It's
Yeah, and
literally
yeah,
not
it's like
about her.
yeah, no. Yeah, it's these these things that would draw it would draw attention to um like the struggles of poverty or you know, drug addiction or any kind of addiction. Just so it was he was always trying to draw attention to that sort of thing. Um yeah. There's something funny that I'm kind of getting here about like you're talking about Elvis Presley
Mm-hmm.
and he's chuckling and saying don't he wasn't there's a vibe here like he wasn't above that his all black maybe we're gonna have to look some stuff up but like the people behind him the backup singers the musicians and stuff like that were always in bright colors whatever so he stood out and
Ah,
was in black so wasn't so much above that
I
either
see. Okay.
in the show so I think you just wanted to point that out when you mentioned Elvis. It was like, yeah, okay, but right, watch, look at it. I gotta go see. I don't know, but he's saying everyone behind him, this bright color thing was also a commentary of contrast, but it was about showmanship in that
Tell us
sense.
about your near death experience. In 1988, he went to watch over his friend Waylon Jennings, who was recovering from a heart attack. And Jennings suggested to Cash to have himself checked out as well. Doctors recommended preventative heart surgery, and Cash underwent double bypass surgery in the same hospital. Both recovered, although Cash refused to take any painkillers, fearing a relapse into dependency. Cash later claimed that during his operation, he had what he called a near death experience. And I was wondering if that was maybe a sign or if that altered his perspective.
It certainly altered his perspective, he says. As with anyone who transitions from a physical reality, right, back to transition in that. Um, there is a true sense of like peace, right? Clarity. And as one transitions through that density. Yes. Okay. this is tough. I wish this would come in words, but it's just pictures. So let me grab it here. His experience was perhaps not as profound for him as those that many of you watch and read about and see, where um they experience conversations, they experience a discussion of, I don't want to go back, well, you have to go, these sorts of things. That was not the case for him. He was aware that he was very close to death. This feeling of like peace and clarity helped him to understand that this life was quite small in comparison to what's really going on. And it shifted his perspective. It just, he says, it shifted like his outlook in um, on his life. And he began to take more time to think about, to contemplate his entire life and his decisions going forward in a much different way. So spiritually, in that, like in that sense. So um his music changed a bit, right? Rather than um the way that they were a bit more about some kind of redemption, or um shifted his focus more on faith. For him, that was a God, in a sense, that was outside of him, but an understanding with that peace and clarity that the connection was very profound. And somewhere in there, even consciously, he understood there was very little to no separation between him, us, and God. Right. So it did shift.
Was this experience organized? Was he always going to have this experience? Was it necessary for him to have that experience at that time in his life for his intentions to unfold as they did?
The experience of the hospital, the surgery, the no, didn't need to be that way. There was a big perspective shift, a big vibrational shift that was kind of required at this point for some other things, and I don't think he's going to tell me exactly, but
Mm.
that was the way at that moment in time that that perspective shift could occur. It could not occur for him any other way. There were infinite options of how that could be, or if that perspective shift needed to be that drastic at that moment,
Right.
right? If the opportunity for that perspective shift needed to be that dramatic. Had the perspective been shifted along leading up to it, didn't need to be in that experience of feeling the peace and clarity and having surgery and doing it that way.
He could have
Okay.
done it through bufa or
Infinite,
acid or but
infinite,
but he
infinite way.
was he was just what said there was he didn't want to go back, he was in recovery, so he didn't want to lapse back into something, so he may have really had no choice. That was he was never going to do the drugs.
Right. But it wasn't just drugs. It was like there were infinite ways that that perspective shift could occur.
Mm-hmm.
Was just that in that moment, that was the perfect
Right.
way for him. It was
So
neutral, right? That
yeah,
was how he perceived it, was this. That was the agreement, right? Okay. Whoa. The collective. Interesting.
was Tom Petty coming in with you in the beginning? Was it the two of them?
No. um,
Or are they
he
sold
says it
separately?
was Frank. I
Frank Sinatra.
Mhm. I knew that because, well, I was I was getting like this blue. Yeah. Okay. Now
Yeah,
I
that's
he says,
great.
"No, it was Frank. Yeah, it was Frank. It's Frank.
What do you
Frank."
th- what do you think of Rick Rubin now, the music producer that turned his career around with his versions of rock and rap songs? Um, what do you think of what's the perspective of Rick Rubin now compared to how you saw Rick Rubin while you were alive?
Okay. The easiest way to answer that at first to get into it is that after transition, the perspective on everything is much broader, is much clearer, is is love, perfection, one. From this perspective, this person is him. In his life, he says there was great appreciation for this person. Why do I feel like, I don't know who it is, but I feel like from your question that that wouldn't be the case. But
No, it's absolutely
there
the
was a
case.
rev up. There was a
Yeah,
um, an honoring of him that he appreciated very, very much.
yeah,
And
yeah. And
yeah, and yeah, so to to have someone and he understood this when he was alive, it is so across different genres of music for someone to be able to rap and country music and right be a crooner and all of these different things is extraordinary talent is extraordinary. So the respect and admiration just for that ability and that capacity. But even with all of that, from the non-physical, um, that was just this much,
yeah.
right? What the perspective is of that one now.
Is there something that you could tell us about you or some experience that only Rick Rubin would know?
I think there may be a couple of people. Um, I think what he's saying is there's a handful of people that know about something that he carried. I think what is that? It's not a key thing. There's something that he gave to Rick, and it's small. Like it, I wanted to say it like it seemed like a keychain, but that's not right. When I said it, it didn't. The picture didn't go away. So, um, but there's something that he personally gave to him, um,
Is it
and a few other people know about it, but I
and
can't
so
quite get what it is. He's trying to give it to me. It's small, like the size of a quarter.
and is it shiny, silver, dark?
Mm. It looks metalish. Yeah, it is metal-ish. Um,
Is it a
but it's
coin?
important. It's important. It was like important to him, and he gave it to him. So
Was it something that he was awarded?
yeah, something awarded, earned, but
Was it
special.
was it okay to do with AA or anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm getting.
That was kind of something I was thinking too. Was it because I've seen those things, but
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no, no. But there's a lot of emotion in this thing, and it's very special. Like it would seem like it'd be something you'd give to a grandchild or something,
Well,
but
thank
something
you so much for coming today. This has been wonderful. Is there maybe a bit of clarity that you can give us right now on your way out, or something even funny?
that the most important thing, do I have this right? He does this little face tick, like it's, it's really funny. The most important thing you can do, I can do, you can do, is be true to you. The most important thing you can do is be true to you.
Sounds like a great lyric for
True
a
to you.
song.
Sure does. Is that in one of his songs? I don't think so. That is really good. I thought he
Great.
was going to be funny, but he wasn't that funny. Not there.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much. Thanks everyone for being here. This was a lot of fun.